This is a quick example of how I prototype with Dynamo and also with cSharp, kind of blending them together to show how I leverage both of them. So what I'm going to do is map an Etabs project that's exported through Excel, and it comes with many tabs. So I want to format this and generate geometry for Revit, but I also want to format it so I can read it and then update the type in the project. But I'd also like to load any families that need to be loaded from my library into this project. So it has pretty nice all point coordinates type, but they're all in all in different sheets or worksheets. So I have this add-in that I've been working on, and I can update from using an Etabs file. So I'll go ahead and just select that Etabs file, and then save a new copy, which will be formatted into a way that will be more reader friendly for a user. This actually doesn't need to happen, but gives us that warm fuzzy feeling of seeing the data kind of collected. This is because Etabs, they never start in the same position where Revit is, so you need to move the model. So here's the formatted version of it, of the Etabs. And it gives me all the sizing, the labeling, and the XYZ point location, and what type of material it is, or type it is. So that's enough information to build in Revit. So let's see. So what I'll use is Dynamo. So now that I have a nice readable formatted file, Dynamo is actually one of the simplest ways and quickest ways to generate three-dimensional geometry. This is why I love it. It's quick, it's easy. And here I'll just go ahead and pull the analytical or the blue lines in. Now you can see that I accidentally already created the columns up here. But I'll go ahead and wire the framing up this time so that the framing gets generated on this next run. So here all the framing will be generated for those multiple stories of this high-rise building. So they're all one type. It didn't read in the type, although you can add that in Dynamo and change the type. I used the cSharp add-in mostly because I wanted to be able to load new types in. So what I'll do is I'll go ahead and change the types to something so we can see the difference between them. This is going to be from a white flange just to tube steel. That way I can kind of tell the difference between the two of them. I'll go ahead and delete the family so we can see them load in. So it's just this round bar down here. So let's see, I'll go ahead and use my add-in again. This time I will select the formatted framing, and then I'll export. What I'm going to do is I'm going to export all the information from Revit out to a database. This is mostly for debugging purposes that I was doing. Was exporting out the data and actually updating the Excel data before I imported it into Revit, just as a kind of a debugging, just a way that I could see it visually. So what I'll go ahead and do is I'll select my exported version of it. Now I'll go ahead and update that exported version of it using my new Etabs formatted one, and it'll update that Excel file. And now that I have it formatted, I should be able to visually see it. And this kind of helps you double check things and debug things, make sure that the Etabs stuff is being mapped across correctly. Now they're all different sizes of Chinese. So the very last thing that we'll go ahead and do is read that information back into Revit and update the framing member sizes to match the Etabs. So there, it just did that. That was a cut, so it's not that fast. It takes a little bit of time, but it loads in the families and also changes the type for it, and we'll add any information that you need to. So this is kind of just an example. I know I make a lot of simple videos of how to leverage Dynamo and the Revit API, but this is kind of one way I've been using it that blends the two. Anyways, I'll keep making videos. Thank you, and if you like these videos, please subscribe.